Well, now on to our particular travel abroad excursion for this year. I like to call it the APB tour, the Alps, Provence, and Barcelona. APB means All Points Bulletin if you're a big Cops and Robbers fan. But the APB tour is what we're going on this January of 2019. And I want to go over some specifics. I've been to all these countries before. I want to give you just a little bit of, some pointers, some things to do, things to look for, a little advice, okay? Advice about enjoying yourself and learning and experiencing everything there is to experience. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that this is 5 countries and 4 different languages. 4 languages, Dr. Litton, that's right, because in Switzerland, I can't talk. In Switzerland, they speak 3 languages. Part of Switzerland speaks predominantly French. One part speaks predominantly German. One part speaks predominantly Italian. Overall, it's a very multilingual country. The majority probably speaks German. So you're going to hear a lot of German. But most of them speak English. It's a very, very international kind of country, especially Zurich and Lucerne are both very international. It's very cosmopolitan. You will find that there is, in Switzerland, a lot of money. When we go to Lucerne, you're going to see a city that is, well, it's not poor. It's not Beverly Hills. It's an older city and everything, but people dress nicely. They drive Bentleys. They drive Mercedes-Benzes and Beamers. And there are some very nice, very, very nice jewelry and clothing stores. Switzerland is been long famous for banking, international banking. They make lots of money in Switzerland, and they don't like to get into wars. They're a very neutral country. They're armed to the teeth. One of the things you'll find out that's kind of interesting is that up until recently there was a law that said that every single building that was built in Switzerland had to have a bunker, and every citizen is required to have firearms and firearms training, and all young men have to join the National Guard and the Army. And so they're very, there's a reason the Nazis didn't invade Switzerland. A couple of reasons, more than just one. But very, very wealthy place, very small, very reclusive kind of country, but an interesting, fascinating country, very clean country. You'll notice the streets are very clean and everything. So it's an interesting place. Then you're going to go down into Italy, and Italy is kind of more of a relaxed, sort of taking life the way it is. You're down near the coast. There's, when we go down to the Cinque Terre, it's beautiful, la dolce vita. Life is to be enjoyed, and a slower pace. So, you're going to see a lot of cultural contrast. In Provence, similarly, kind of a Mediterranean lifestyle, but certainly regionalism, the regional pride in things that they do and produce in Provence. They're very proud of what they produce there. Particularly perfumes are big, perfumes, soaps, those kinds of things. And when we get to Barcelona, Barcelona is a really interesting city because it's unlike any other Spanish city. I like to think of it as sort of the San Francisco of Spain. It's quite left wing. It's quite liberal. During the Civil War, it was mostly occupied by socialists and communists as opposed to the Franco regime, which was fascist. My wife and her family are from Barcelona, so I've spent many, many weeks and months in Barcelona. And our tour director, Chris Morrison, lives in Barcelona with his wife, Lourdes, and have for many years. So on our tour, we're going to be ending up in his neighborhood, if you will. Lots of really great things. So you're 4 different languages, 5 different countries. We're going to go to Monaco, down there on the bottom, the second picture from the left is Monte Carlo, the capital of the little Principality of Monaco. Beautiful, wealthy place, also a banking place, also a casino place. I hate to say it, but Switzerland and Monaco were places where you could hide your money if you needed to, if you know what I mean, wink, wink. So wealthy people put their money there because there was no questions asked. So you're going to be seeing a lot of different things. In Provence, you're going to see ancient Roman ruins. In Switzerland, we're going to go up to the top of the Alps, and you're going to get a gorgeous view. Hopefully the weather's good. Down by the Mediterranean, you can see beaches and gorgeous, the Mediterranean Sea and yachts and the wonderful, weird, mixed architecture of Barcelona. So this is a very rich tour in a lot of respects. And I think there's a whole lot to look forward to. But the great thing is the cultural contrast. On the one hand, Mediterranean life is very similar. The foods are kind of similar. The lifestyle's kind of similar. The approach to life is kind of similar. But on the other hand, the languages, some of the ways people speak, the traditions, the history, very different. You're going to see a lot of contrast there. Okay? So food. Hey, food. That's one of the reasons to go on one of these things, right? Is to sample all the wonderful food. And food in the places we're going to is part of experiencing the culture. You just can't. It's not like going to, like Los Angeles. I mean, okay, there's some good places to eat in Los Angeles, but honestly, people don't go to Los Angeles because they go there for the food. They go to New Orleans for the food, right? You know what I mean? So there are places that are associated with a particular zest and gusto and love of food, and there are places that kind of aren't. These places are all places where people love the food. Switzerland, we're talking chocolate. It's really wonderful. Their wonderful Lindt store I'll show you in Lucerne, where you can just stock up great stuff. They're all over the place, almost as good as Belgium. In Italy, gelato and pasta. Oh, and also pesto. You want to get pesto. Make sure you put it in your check bag because you'll have somebody at an airport take yours like they did mine once. Probably enjoyed himself quite thoroughly at lunch, but nevertheless, gelato, tasty, wonderful stuff, pasta everywhere you go. In Provence, the cheeses. In Barcelona, tapas. I'm going to tell you what tapas are if you don't know what that is. Tapas are like little hors d'oeuvres. See the picture down there with the bar where the guys and all those little plates of things. What you do in Barcelona and a lot of the rest of Spain is you go in and you just go to a little cafe, a little diner, a little place. They call them bars or cafes or whatever. And you stop in with your friends. And every little cafe, every little mom and pop place is known for like one or two really great things that they make. Maybe croquetas, maybe tortilla, maybe jamón serrano with melon. All these different kinds of different pinchos, all these different kinds of things. And what you do is you just order a couple. First guy pays, everybody else buys their own drink. Then you go to the next place and the next guy pays and orders whatever that place is really their specialty is, right? And you do that and you make a night of it. It's really fun. You try out all these different foods, and by the time you're done, you've eaten a meal, basically, of finger food, and nobody's out a whole lot of money, and just go easy on the wine, okay? Because it can add up, okay? But it's a great way to socialize. People just kind of spend an hour in one place, move down the road and go to an hour in the next place, maybe go across the square, there's another place, and you just, you take in the scenery, you have great conversation. This is what life is about in Barcelona. So all the tapas, eat what the locals eat. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. You'll walk into one of these mom and pop places, and the guy behind the bar will tell you, this is good stuff. You should eat this. This is what we're famous for. Trust the man, okay? They're usually right. I mean, they're not going to steer you wrong towards something weird. They're not going to do that. They're there because they know what they're talking about. So that's the thing that you want to do. Sample new things, contrast the food. Hey, take a journal with you and make notes of everything you see and experience so that you can relive it later on. It's awesome to be able to do that and to say, oh, I remember when I ate that really cool thing, man, with the shrimp in it. It was so good. And you can look it up later. I when I was in Portugal, in Lisbon, I ate this dish, which was called a cataplana. And it was made in a copper kettle. It was the weirdest thing. It's kind of a stew kind of thing. I thought, what is this? I've never had this before. It was the most delicious thing I'd ever had in my life. It was absolutely, wonderful, delectable. Came back here, got myself, no matter how hard I had to look for one, a cataplana. Now, mine's not as good as what I ate, but you come back home and you try the recipes and you think, so that's the fun of it. Bring it home with you, right? Bring the experiences home with you. Gifts. You're going to go out and do a lot of shopping. We're going to try to give you as much time as we can to explore on your own. And some of that's shopping. Don't make it into a shopping tour, okay? There's more to see than just shops. But that is one reason why we're over there, and that's cool, okay? I highly recommend that you look very carefully at perfumes, and especially soaps in southern France. You can get wonderful little gifts for friends. I mean, bars of fantastically fragrant soaps, handmade stuff, lavender and rose petal, and just all kinds of different scents for like $1 a bar. I'm not kidding you. You can find some really inexpensive and very creative smells, and that lasts forever, doesn't go bad. It's easy to pack. It's not overly heavy. You pick up 6 or 7 bars, and people are like, wow, you brought me some soap from France. That's kind of cool. And it didn't cost very much. In Barcelona, I really recommend that you go to Zara's. Now, I don't buy my clothes from Zara's because I'm not a college girl, okay? But I do know enough about college girls because I teach them all the time. Zara's is where you want to go, okay? And they've got some big Zara's there in Barcelona, especially on the Portal del Ángel, and down near the Plaza Catalunya, and also right on the Plaza Catalunya is a very large department store. I find their prices a little bit too but you can find a lot there. It's really great. I mean, the selection's fantastic. El Corte Inglés, very famous department store there. It's kind of like the Macy's of Spain. You can find anything there. It's just a little bit pricier, and you can find good deals on clothing at Zara's and some other places. You'll find them. I have faith in most of you that you will find the clothing stores with cute stuff and great prices. Start with Zara's. Chris and I will show you where it is. There's like 2 or 3 of them around. Like I said, pesto is a great gift. I mean, you get a small jar of pesto. It goes a long way. It's not terribly heavy. Just put it in your check bag, like I said. And it's a great gift. People love it. I will show you what kind of pesto to get because it has a specific seal on the label that will tell you whether it's highest government-approved quality. You want to look for that little seal, but I'll show you that when we see it in the stores if you want me to point it out. That's the stuff you want. It doesn't cost that much more than the cheap stuff, and it's way better in quality. They can't put the seal on unless the government says it's of X quality grade, and you want that stuff. But you can buy a small jar of pesto, and it goes a long, long way, and it lasts a long time. Okay? Some things to think about in terms of free time and your excursions. When we're in Lucerne, you can either this will cost us extra if you do it. I've done it before. Once I did it, once I didn't do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it this time or not. You can take a funicular ski lift basically up to the top of Mount Pilatus, or there might be another mountain, depends on the weather. But they'll take you up to the mountaintop. That's what that looks like up there in the right-hand corner, top right-hand corner is Mount Pilatus, which has this beautiful lookout over all of the Alps. It's just gorgeous. There's no skiing up there. It's too high up and too dangerous to go skiing up there, but it's wonderful, great views, fun to explore, take huge numbers of pictures, and they got a chocolate shop up there, a hot chocolate shop. It's kind of nice to have hot chocolate at the top of the Alps. It's cool. If you've never done it, you ought to do it. Could be Pilatus, could be another mountain, or you can stay in Lucerne, and I've done that before, and just do some chocolate shopping all over town and explore the medieval bridge and all those things. It's a lot of fun just to explore the town. When we're in the Cinque Terre, I highly recommend just kind of strolling up and down the streets a little bit. There won't be a lot of shops open because it's the off season, but there'll be some wonderful cafes, and there's just nothing like having a coffee and overlooking the Mediterranean. You're just feet from the Mediterranean Sea and just enjoying a coffee and just taking in the views. A lot of fun. Again, it's the lifestyle, slow, relaxed, taking it all in, the beauty of the scenery and everything. When you're in Monte Carlo, you're going to see Bentleys and Maseratis parked all over the place near the casino. Do what I do. Just walk in like you own the place. That's what I do. I'm just like, me and George Clooney, I was supposed to meet him here this afternoon, but, he's late. Just walk right in. Some of our I don't condone gambling because you're going to lose everything, but I have had students go in there and actually gamble a bit, and they won quite a bit of money once or twice. They were the exception. Okay. However, if you want to do it and you want to take 10 or 15 euros and go in and see what happens, go right ahead, just so you can say you actually went to a Monte Carlo casino, because they are the most famous in the world, even more famous than Vegas. They've been around longer than Vegas for sure. But Monte Carlo is very interesting because if I recall correctly, when we go to the castle where the prince of Monaco lives, the police officers there in Monte Carlo, I believe their uniforms are made by Armani. That's how much stinking money they got in Monte Carlo, that the police officer uniforms are designer. Pretty cool. Anyway, kind of a fun place to be. Just spend an afternoon. That's what we'll do, is spend an afternoon there. We'll have a little time for a visit and everything. Then we'll push on to Barcelona. Now we're going to go to Provence. I've not spent a lot of time in Provence. I've been in and around Provence, but not right in it. So we're going to get a chance to see an amphitheater, which you will see. No, a theater. I'm sorry, a theater, which you can see over there to the right-hand side. It's an ancient Roman theater. It's quite fascinating. It's not as big as the Colosseum, but it dates from pretty close to the same time. If you've never seen 2,000-year-old ruins, you're about to do it. It's kind of a cool thing to be able to see because, of course, that part of what was at that time Gaul, now France, was a Roman colony. Julius Caesar had conquered it, and so we're going to be walking the streets that some Romans walked at one point, right? And be able to see that theater, that ancient theater there. Kind of a cool thing to be able to see. In Barcelona, lots of great stuff to do. We're going to try to give you as much time as possible in Barcelona so that you can have some free time, because it is really a city that was just designed for college students to explore and have fun. Now, remember, I've only had 2 students have things stolen from them, being the victims of property crimes. Both cases, Barcelona, no joke. You got to watch your stuff. However, don't let that slow you down. Don't let that get you. Just be careful and go out and have a good time. Never a violent situation at all. Just people stealing stuff, picking pockets and stuff. Go down to the Gothic Quarter, which is the old part of town that Barcelona was actually founded even before the Romans. We get the word bark as in barge and that sort of, it means boat town. It was founded before the Romans. The Romans made it into a big seaport, and then after that, in the medieval period, they built the cathedral and everything else down in the Gothic Quarter. You should go down there. You can still see parts of the Roman walls and arches down in that area. And the old cathedral that's there is just gorgeous on the inside and out. Take a walk down Las Ramblas, which is a street that was built by the Romans over or on top of a creek bed. Now there's just shops everywhere and fun stuff to do and flowers and birds and just all kinds, street lots and lots of street performers down in that area. Shop the major stores, like I said, by day, and try, if you want to, try an ice bar at night. If you don't know what an ice bar is, Google it, but it is kind of fun. If you've never done one, it's weird. You go in, they give you a parka and some gloves, and everything, the bar, the chairs, the tables, are entirely blocks of carved ice. When they serve you a drink, the drink is served in not a glass, but a glass-shaped chunk of ice, okay? It's funky. If you've never done it, they got music and everything. You can dance in your little parkas and like polar bears, and it's pretty fun. It's kind of a weird idea, but if you've never done it, everybody who's done it says it's a lot of fun. So, it costs some money to do, but you can always say, hey, I did an ice bar once, and there's a famous one there in Barcelona. Also, Hard Rock Cafe, if you like to, peek in there, that's down there as well. All kinds of really cool stuff to do down near the downtown area. We're going to be probably staying near Las Ramblas, I should say we're going to be spending lots of time in Las Ramblas, the Gothic Quarter area, Portal de Angel, all of those areas down there. So that's where all the action is. So that's where we're going to be. I don't know where our hotel is yet, but that's the case. I will have more information as we get a little bit further into the semester about things like which hotels we're going to be at, and in class I'll do the itinerary day by day real quickly for you so you know what to expect. We have a good idea of our flights right now, but I'm going to wait and announce that officially in another couple of weeks or so. But I just want you to look forward to what we're doing here, and the most important thing, I really want you to do this, guys. Get a guidebook and read it. If you don't want to bring a guidebook, bookmark some really great websites that tell you what fun things there are to do in all these different stops. Study it. Be the honor students that you are. Do a little research. You will see so much more and experience so much. You'll get so much more out of the tour if you go and do some reading about the places first. Make yourself a little expert on these little places we're going to, so that when you get there you say, oh, I've got this list of things I want to see while I'm here. Well, you won't be able to see them all, but you'll be able to see a bunch of stuff, and you'll see more and experience more if you went and did the reading ahead of time. Don't just sit there and let it wash over you. Don't let this tour happen to you. You be proactive and make a list of things you want to do and accomplish while you're there. Do your homework, research, read ahead, get a great guidebook, or bookmark some fantastic websites. Have it ready at your access so that you can figure out what you want to do. Make a list of things you want to do in each spot, and we'll help you do that. I can help you find different places. All of our group leaders will do that, and Chris will too. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I know you are too. And just want you to make sure that you remember to view all of the other videos as well. We're going to have a quiz over it, and I will see you in our first class very, very soon.